to another episode of Elisabeth's Brain Bubbles.
Yeah, it was lovely. The comments were really nice, and we are happy that you enjoyed our tea chit chat.
Yeah.
And we thought we have two questions, which were really
we've
nice.
written down a few questions and we'll work our way through them. We hoped that we could go out to a bar and sit in a bar and have a chat, but there aren't any bars to go to.
And it's raining.
And we're cozier at home.
So the first one, Nikki, was which language we are speaking if we are not making a video.
Yes.
So we are speaking
in Italian. We speak in Italian together. I don't know why.
No, it's easy. I can explain you. You are British, and your mother tongue is English, and your second language is Italian. For me, neither English nor Italian are mother tongue. So for me, it doesn't matter which one of the two I'm speaking. So we chose the one
that everybody else speaks.
Yeah.
I think probably because it's easier if Carla's with us or if Pepe's with us, the kids. It's just the one that everyone else can understand as well. And Mariana, she's Brazilian, and so her language is Portuguese. So we all speak Italian together.
Yes. So it's like the key to our language.
But we can quite easily switch into English.
Yes. We're trying German sometimes.
Don't get very far with that. I can tell her that I'm 15 and I have 3 brothers and go straight on and round the corner.
That's the language we are using. It's just the common language we are using in our daily life at home, let's say, with our families when our partners are with us, and that's it.
Yeah. And we're in Italy, so it sort of makes sense.
Yes.
The other question was, which one are we doing first?
We do 3. That's right, we do 3, no?
Okay.
We do the family?
Okay.
Yeah. How
was it to integrate into an Italian family? So we've both moved here and ended up being absorbed into big Italian families.
Very big Italian families.
Yes.
Yeah. When I met Pepe was already separated for years, and I entered in a quite big family, nervous logically at the beginning because I'm the second wife. They were lovely. My father-in-law and also my mother-in-law were perfect from the first moment I came. They were super nice, and there was nothing. I remember my mother-in-law telling me, I can see that you love my son, and that's the most important for me. And from this moment, it was easy cheesy.
Good.
Yeah.
Carla's got a big family too. It was quite overwhelming meeting everybody. It gets really complicated if we go to the cousins and aunts and uncles. That gets really complicated. I don't think Carla even knows how many cousins he's got. Carla?
No, they are helping Leni to sew something for us.
So he's probably got over 100 cousins, and I don't know who they all are. But anyway, with his just the close family, there's over 20 people, so it was quite overwhelming. But everybody was very nice. I think I was the only foreigner. I'm not anymore, but I was the only foreigner in the family back then. And yes, it was very interesting. I think the funniest thing was when I tried to prove to them that even though I'm English, I can cook.
Oh yeah.
They were not accepting of that. I would take cakes to the family meals and stuff, and everybody was scared to try my food. So I gave up on that after a while. But I mean, I've kept Carla and Sky alive for a good 20 years or so, and I think they've all accepted the fact that I can cook now.
Yeah, I love coming to your house and eating your food. So when we had big family lunches, I'm normally bringing or brought something sweet, because that's very different to the things from here. And then they were not able to say if I did it right or wrong, because they didn't know what they eat.
Yeah. I think my safe go-to was once I realised they weren't going to try the cakes that I was making, I would just go to the bar, buy one of those trays of little cakes or dolce and take those instead, and they were always well received.
Yes, but that's what we
I'll tell you what, we actually got into a habit of buying a big tin of Quality Street Christmas sweets from England. You know, they do these big tins full of there's toffees and fudges and orange creams and and Brazil nuts with chocolate and stuff. And every year they want one of those from us. So we bring a lot of sweets back from England. But yes, I mean, it's good fun. Big Italian families are good fun. And there's always people around town that are part of the family and they're there to help you out. I mean, it's nice to have them around.
Yeah, I think that's the nicest part, because we are lucky because we have a big family on the other side, because our family is not here. So at least on this side you have like support and family.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah. So yeah, all good. Other one. So this is we've saved the big discussion for last, and we've like and erred about should we talk about this. We thought we would talk about experiences of giving birth in Italy.
Yes.
Now it must be said that neither of us has given birth anywhere except for Italy, so
yes.
We're not comparing it with anything because we haven't got anything to compare it to. We're just going to tell you our personal experiences, which we've already talked about this. We've got very different experiences, and they will no doubt also be very different from anybody else's experience who's given birth in Italy. Now, both of our experiences have been in South Italy, in the Naples region, and I'm pretty sure that if you went to Rome or Florence or Milan or any other region, you'd have a completely different experience from what we had. But I think it's an interesting topic. So let's give it a go. Now, you've had 2 experiences, and I've only had 1. So,
but both were different,
yeah.
Although they were in the same hospital.
Okay.
The first one was, so Lenny was due on the 10th of August. I gave birth on the 5th of August early in the morning. I had to go like a week before, you remember, to do the checkup, the daily checkup when you're nearly due, to the hospital. And so what I have to say is I come from Austria, and Austria has quite a good health system, normal public health system. And my family has also private insurance. So whenever I needed something, until I moved here to Italy, I had the perfect experience. Yeah, any operation, I had a big operation on the knee and other things, was always perfect. The hospital was super nice, like 5-star hotels when you go in the private clinic. So this was a big changer here, because I had to decide for the best for my baby here, and this was the 5th of August. The closest hospital is Vico Equense. So as I had to work all the time, and we were not able to go to Avellino, which is like 2 hours from here, where you have beautiful hospitals also, but you need to move with your husband and your family, and this wasn't possible because we had the business and Pepe was working. We decided to do Vico Equense. So I left early in the morning. I entered around 12. The hospital by itself was for me a shock, because I have never seen something like being with other, like 6 women who have to share a toilet or things like this. But in the moment of the birth, I can tell you it was not even important, because I just wanted to get Lenny out of my body. But afterwards, thinking about this was something I would prefer not to have the experience. Yeah, not to share with other 5 women a bathroom.
So the service, the room that you were in and everything was very basic. Yeah,
there were 3 beds and that's it. Okay. And a tiny little cupboard where you could put your things. But what I remembered, what was really the biggest impact, was when Mariana, because she had already a child, she gave me a list of things I had to bring. And one of the first things on top was toilet paper.
Yeah.
And I was like, why? And she said, because there is no toilet paper. And also, if you leave a toilet paper, everybody will use it. In 20 minutes, there will be no toilet paper. So I had to bring all the things. I mean, you get basics, but yeah, even, everything. You have to bring everything. And then this was something which really had a big impact on me, because I was not used to this. the birth by itself, everything went well. My doctor was lovely. Pepe was able to be with me because I gave birth at 5 o'clock in the morning, and the doctor was lovely. It was not my doctor, he was on holidays, so I had to take the one which was there. But it was okay because I had a natural birth and there was nothing difficult.
Okay.
I had 2 perfect natural births, yeah? And yeah, really, really lucky. Very lucky, because when I spoke later with others, I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, okay. And then that's it. The only thing what I was not able to do is at the first birth with Leni, they didn't bring me Leni the moment when she came out. I wasn't able to do the bonding, you know. Pepe saw her, he saw her, and then she was off to have all the checks, and then I got her later. So this special moment when they come out and you just put them, what I had with Rosie afterwards, 3 years later, this I missed with Leni. With the second one it was different because I already knew everything, more or less. So I told them, give me my baby, I want her.
Okay.
Yeah? So this was different. But the experience from the birth with the second child was the same. Yeah, the hospital was also the same after 3 years. There were no big changes.
No.
Yeah, so that's the only thing. I really was at the beginning shocked because
it's not a great hospital. It looks very bedraggled and worn and
yeah,
in a bad state. Yeah, it's
Yes.
not, and also.
Which is such a pity because we would desperately need in this place a really good hospital. Yeah, so there is a project for a common hospital for all the area around the Amalfi Coast and also the Sorrento. So hopefully maybe in the future they will build something up because we really would, there's a big issue, we need something.
When Sky was born, in the year before, there was a hospital in Piano di Sorrento, which is only half an hour from here by car. And in fact, Sky's cousin, who's only 10 months older than Sky, he was born there.
In Sorrento?
Yeah, in Piano di Sorrento,
okay.
San Michele.
Yeah.
And by the time, 10 months later, that Sky came along, it was shut down. It's a shame because it was really handy. I don't know what the story is. I don't know why it had to close.
In fact, I chose Viquequenzi because it was the closest one. I thought I don't want to go, and already I remember.
And by closest, how long does it take to get to Viquequenzi?
Yeah, so
About an
I
hour.
was going every day to church and lit a candle that I would give birth in the night because of the traffic.
Yeah.
Because I thought if I get blocked, like when the traffic blocks,
The August summer
it
traffic.
takes like 3 hours. I'm done. And
If you haven't been here, what you have to understand is that from Naples all the way here, there is one road. You don't have a choice. Oh, this road's blocked. We'll go that way. There's no choice. You go that way, and that's it. And if there's a car crash or there's a landslide and the
You're
road's
just
closed,
blocked.
that's it. You're blocked. So there's only one way to get to the hospital. And if you can't get there that way, you're not going to get there. So yes, that was a problem. That was a worry for me as well, I must say.
But I was lucky. Both kids were born in the night. So
Very lucky.
yeah, not really.
Yeah.
Really lucky. So
Yeah.
that was my experience. That was fine. And let's say from the moment I gave birth and Leni was born or Rosie was born, everything was fine. I had only with Leni I had to do 3 nights, yes, and with Rosie I wanted to sign to go earlier because I had my mom here and there's more. They take better care when you're at home after birth than in a hospital because you need somebody who helps you to cook and do things like this, you know, you need to be, and I wanted to sign, but they told me no, it's always 3 nights also for the kids. I could go home, but she would have to be in hospital, so I stayed also the 3rd night and then immediately we left.
Okay. I remember you telling me, and I can't remember whether it was Rosie or Leni, I think it might have been Rosie. I can remember you telling me a story about one of the nurses who wouldn't accept that you spoke and understood Italian.
Tell us. I wanted to skip this part. No, so when I entered with Rosie, I was already, the water broke. So I was already in the
labor.
In labor. I entered, and Pepe was not allowed to come to the first visit. He was waiting outside. And this doctor was desperately afraid of me, like foreigner.
Okay.
When he realized and he saw my name and the passport and that I'm not Italian, he started, no, I have to print out papers. You have to sign for me that there's no problems afterwards. And I said, after what? I want to give birth. And it was really a very uncomfortable situation because I was quite already in labor. And he was trying to print out the things instead of visiting me to see how far I was already. So I remember how do you say, the obstetrica, the
obstetrician.
The woman, the
midwife.
Yeah, the midwife. She passed by and she saw me and she remembered me because she was from Positano. And she said, Elisabeth, you're here, you're ready. And I said, I think so, but I don't know. And she said, what are you doing? And I said, I don't know. He's trying to let me sign things. And she said, no, but you are already far. And she did the visit while the doctor was still printing out papers. And she just literally pissed him off and brought me down. And I gave birth. 1 hour later, Rosie was here. So he was really nervous. And my luck was that this was the moment when they changed doctor. So I gave birth, I think at 7. So they changed, and I got the same doctor I had with Lenny.
Okay.
And he was, he was good. He was fun. He wasn't nervous about my Austrian passport. Yeah. Yeah, so we don't want to offend anybody because every experience is a personal one. This could have happened also in any place in Vienna or in the UK. It's just my experience.
Yeah.
I remember I was so angry with him when he didn't want to go and let me give birth that I vomited on his table, on his papers. Yeah, so to let him understand that's not necessary.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was my experience. Now we are listening to your beautiful experience.
Okay. My experience was a long time ago. Well, it was 21 years ago. And I remember asking my doctor, which hospital do you think I should go to? And the only choice was Vico Equense, where you went, or Naples International Hospital. And he looked at me and he went, I don't think you should go to Vico. Let's go to Naples. So we planned it all for Naples, which was, when we did the test drive in the middle of the day, it took us 2 hours to get there by car. So I was really worried that it was going to happen. Okay, Sky was born in February, so I knew there wasn't going to be summer traffic. But there could have been a landslide, there could have been anything. And I was really worried. And I was also worried that Carlo might be up in Montepulciano where there was no phone signal, and I wouldn't be able to get hold of him, and I wouldn't be able to tell him that I was ready, and I was really scared. And then on one of the last checks, the doctor was like, ooh, there was some problem. I'm not going to go into that, but they decided they were going to do a cesarean. So I was booked in for a cesarean, and at that point, all the stress left me because I was so glad that we knew when it was going to happen, and we knew that we had to get up early in the morning and drive there on this day, and there was going to be no surprises, and we'd be able to get there in time. That I was very much relieved. So I went along with it. I don't think I actually needed a cesarean. I feel like, I don't know. I just feel like I don't needed one, but I didn't contest it because I was happy to have it organised and not just let it all happen. So anyway, we got to Naples and it was booked in for 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Everything was fine up to then. The hospital was lovely. It was very clean, very modern, very different from Vico. It was really all in good condition. I was put in a room with 4 beds. There was a bathroom, and we had to share a bathroom. And there was 4 beds, and I think there was 1 empty bed, and there was 2 women that had obviously just had their babies. One of them lay there moaning the whole time, which terrified me. And I don't know why she was moaning, but she just lay there going, oh, it hurts, oh. And I just thought, oh my God, is this what's going to happen to me? Anyhow, the doctor was 4.5 hours late. So my scheduled cesarean at 1 o'clock. By 4 o'clock, I was still sitting there waiting, and I was, by this point, terrified because I'd wound myself up, and I was so scared, and they weren't telling me what was happening. I didn't know why I was waiting. I didn't know what was happening. This woman was moaning and complaining, and another one had been wheeled off and brought back, and she was starting to wake up and complain as well. And so I was so scared. I was nearly climbing out of the windows, and I can remember my mum literally holding on to me saying, don't even think about it. I was so scared. Then this nurse came along and took me off into a room, and I said, what are we doing? She says, pre-controls. And I was like, but what? What are you doing to me? Are you going to give me an injection? Are you giving me medicine? Are you measuring something? Don't worry, just lie down and shut up. And I lay on this bed, and I was scared. I didn't trust her. I didn't know what she was going to do. And next thing I knew, she'd whipped out a disposable big razor, and she was dry shaving me really, really quickly down there, and then got me up and sent me on my way and told me to go and have a shower. And there was blood running down my legs from all the places where she'd cut me. It was horrible. It was horrific. And I was like, why did you do that? I'm having a cesarean and I'm even going down there. There's no need. And it's mandatory. It's mandatory. And sent me off again. I think they all looked on me as the mad foreigner. But anyway, that was probably the worst part. In the worst experience. It was just the fact that she wouldn't tell me what she was doing, probably because she knew that I'd say, don't you dare. There's no need. But anyway, that's what happened. Then the doctor eventually turned up, all in a fluster, all in a hurry, and whipped us down to the operating room. There was no time to think. It was just very, very fast.
Where was Carlo?
Carla came down with us, but as we got to the entrance of the operating theatre, they turned round and said, you wait here. And they shut the door in his face. And him and my mum ended up outside. And I was like, no, he's the father. He can come in. They were like, no, he can't. This is an operating theatre. So I don't know if the rules have changed now, but back then, when you're having an operation, if you're having cesarean, the father is not allowed in at all, under any circumstance, because it's an operating theatre. So the cesarean went absolutely fine. It was very fast. I was awake. They put a little curtain up so I couldn't really see what they were doing, but I could feel them tugging. I could feel the tug as they pulled the baby out. The next thing I know, this woman's walking away with a newborn baby. And I'm like, hang on, wait, was that mine? What's happening? Did I have a baby? What is it? Is it a girl? Is it a boy? Because I'd chosen to not know. I didn't know what Sky was. We wanted the surprise when she was born, which obviously completely backfired because Carla wasn't there. They didn't show me. And I had to fight to let them show me her. There was no first skin-on-skin contact, nothing like that. The standard procedure with caesarean births is that they are born and put into an incubator straight away for 12 hours.
Okay.
Yeah, so she was born at 5 in the afternoon. 12 hours brought it up to 5 o'clock the next morning. They're not going to wake you up at 5 o'clock the next morning and bring you a baby. So I had to wait until 9 o'clock in the morning. So I didn't see her, apart from they basically walked past me, here she is, it's a girl, and then took her away. That's all I saw. And they eventually wheeled me back up to the room, and I lay there thinking, was that a dream? Did I actually just have a baby? Is it a girl? What does it look like? Who knows? And it was very odd because we had nothing to do. There was nothing, there was no baby, there was no evidence that I'd had a baby. So, do we phone people? Do we phone the grandparents and my dad, my brothers? Do we tell them? Yeah. We've got a baby, but actually no, we don't know what it looks like. We don't know what colour hair it's got. We don't know anything about it. It was a very strange situation. And we had to wait until 9 o'clock the next morning. But the other bad thing that we didn't like was that a couple of hours afterwards, at some point that evening, the doctor came into the ward to do a check on me, and all the girls in the beds next to me had tons of family visiting. They had the brothers and the husband and the husband's brothers and the dad and they were all there. There was like 10 people per bed. The doctor came up to my bed, whipped off the sheets, and said, "Open your legs, I need to check." And I just whipped the sheets back on, saying, "Oh, get all these men out of the room." And he turned around to me, perfectly straight-faced, and said, "But they're not here for you. They're visiting those girls." I was like, "But they're men, they're still going to look." And that's when my mum stood up and said, "Get my daughter a private room now." And then, we got a private room, which we paid, I think at the time it was about €120 a night. It wasn't expensive.
Oh.
And we got a private room, 2 beds, one for mum, one for me. Carla wasn't allowed, so one for mum and one for me. Our own bathroom. And the baby was brought to us. Rather than me having to go down to the nursery, the baby was brought to me every 3 hours for feeding or whatever. But that first feed obviously didn't happen until 9 o'clock the next morning.
Which is really long.
Which is a really long time from birth at 5 through to 9 in the morning. So it didn't seem to cause any problems because she was a great feeder and it all worked out fine in the end. But it was I found it to be a very old-fashioned process. It's something that what I would have imagined a birth to be like back in the 50s, let's say, not in 2003. No. So it was a very strange situation. And then again, like you, I was told a day later that I could leave, but the baby wasn't allowed to leave. And we could go back, so they say something like we could go back and we'd have to go back to the town hall and sign the birth certificates and then bring them back to the hospital in 2 days' time to exchange them for the baby. And we looked at each other, we said, "We're not leaving here without the baby. No. That's not happening, no." And we had to make phone calls, and luckily we knew somebody who knew the head of the hospital, and we had to make this whole special arrangement so that we could not leave without the baby. It was very strange.
No, this was just because I wanted to leave as early as possible. Because with the second birth, I knew that my mom would take better care at home, and then I had a midwife coming at home always for the first 2-3 weeks to visit and check on me. And they said, "No, unfortunately, it's not 48, it's 72 hours. You have to be." That was why I had to, because they do checkups, and the last one they do again is the ear checkup, I think. So that's why they have to wait. Yeah,
I remember the nurses were lovely. All of them were really, really nice. They were. It was incredible. I was ready for not nice nurses for some reason. I was like apart from that one that showed me with the Bic razor, all of the others afterwards were lovely. And on the second night, round about midnight, I can remember wandering around and creeping down to the nursery. And there's the makeup artist in me coming out. I ended up plucking the eyebrows and redesigning the eyebrows of all of the nurses on duty. And they were all lining up waiting to have their eyebrows done by me. So yeah, the staff were all really nice apart from that one girl at the beginning, and the hospital was great. I remember looking around thinking, wow, everything's brand new in here, it looks really good. It had a sea view. There was a huge terrace outside with a big sea view. But yes, it was just the way that the baby wasn't allowed to be with me, Carla wasn't allowed to be in with me, and then afterwards, signing the birth certificate, they argued with me. It was 2 slightly older nurses, and they did not like my choice of name. Yes, when I said, so they said, "So what name are we putting down?" And I said, "Sky." They were like, "What? What's that?" I said, "Well, it's a Scottish name." "Well, what's wrong with..." She actually said, "What is wrong with Maria or Francesca?" And I was like, "Well, I think there's quite enough of them around already. Let's have something different, shall we?" And then we decided that we were going to give her my surname, and that wasn't allowed. We didn't know that if the father's name was on the birth certificate, then the child has to have his name. That's been changed now. I think in the last year, you can now choose.
I don't know.
Yeah, in the last year, I heard about it. In the last year, you can choose, you can have both, like in Spain, or you can choose which one. But up until last year, there was no choice.
With these, we agreed because Pep and me, because we were not married at this moment. We married in 2019. Lenny was born in 2013, And I remember I wanted her to have the same name like her sisters. Also, like mentally, you know, for the people, there's no difference.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wanted her to be the same, like Fiorella Fusco or Annalisa Fusco.
Yeah.
So that was it. But I had the same experience with Leni, so they didn't want to put the name.
Yeah.
Another thing I wanted to tell you, you had your mom with you, but you know, the weird thing is where I stayed, they looked at me weird because I didn't want anybody with me. Because there's the whole family with you, like the whole women part of the family is taking care of the mother, because there are not a lot of nurses and they are underemployed. And I have seen the nurse maybe, I don't remember, but maybe 2 or 3 times a day, you know? And then there was nobody. So if you wanted a glass of water, I was fine because I had the natural birth. But if you have a cesarean, you know, sometimes you can't even move perfectly. And to pull in the water, it's difficult.
Yeah.
So there were like grandmothers, mothers, sisters, sister-in-laws, everybody around.
But
and I was alone.
That's why. No, that's why my mum was there, because I would never have thought to ask her to come and stay in hospital with me. It was Carla's mother that phoned me and said, "Who's coming with you to the hospital?" And I said, "Well, Carla." She goes, "No, which woman is coming with you?" She said, "I haven't got time. Who's coming with you?" And I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "Well, you have to have a carer. You have to have somebody stay in hospital with you." And we had this last year when Carla's father was in hospital. If you guys remember, Carla went back. He came back from Tuscany in February to help look after his father in hospital, and they would take it in turns to stay the night with him and be there all the time to look after him. And I didn't know about this back then, but luckily Carla's mum warned me and said, "You need somebody, you need a female family member to be with you. I can't do it. Who are you going to have?" So that's when I phoned my mum and I said, "Well, apparently you're going to have to come and stay in hospital with me." And she was like, "Why? What for?" And I was like, "I don't know, but come, just come."
That's
so
something very special in the south, I think.
Yeah, maybe.
So I did the first and the second birth alone, and I'm happy. But I saw, for example, the woman next to me, she had like her poor mom sleeping on 2 chairs.
On a chair, plastic chair on the side of the bed.
So
I mean, that was the other bonus
fun.
with the private room, was that my mum had a bed, which was great, and we had our own room.
Yeah, so you see, every story is different.
Every story is different. And yeah, I mean, I know that in other places people have birth plans and choices of water birth or hypnobirth or home birth or this, and here it's just very much more back to basics, and it's just something that's got to be done, and people don't really fuss about it. They don't they're not into all the birth plans and water births and stuff. They just get on with it and get it done, like in the olden days, I suppose.
Because, this we can say, because we are so far away from where you can do this. You can go to Salerno, for example. You can give a beautiful birth there, but it is too far. You know, I was thinking, if I go to Salerno or to Avellino, let's say Salerno, Pepe would need 1.5 hours on a good day to come and visit me one way. So this would be 3 hours for him in August to drive around, for 1 hour to enter and see me, you know?
Yeah,
And so for this we chose the closest part, and this is what we have here.
Yeah. No, it makes more sense. I mean, even, I remember poor Carlo having to drive to Naples and back every day for those 4 days. It was a nightmare. It was 2 hours each way. Yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, those were our experiences, and here's 2 of the results. Yay! Look, you see, it's all worth it in the end, because you end up with little things like this.
È perfetto che sono venuti.
Sì.
Hai fatto il flauto. Bellissimo.
Bello.